Calicoe, like I said in a brief video that I put on Twitter, I was really focusing on Calicoe and Showoff and just trying to squash that out. Yeah, one of the best battles on the RBE channel. That happens to be one that even happened in the street. Talk about calling an audible. That's an audible that I call for you. I never told the public why that battle happened in the street. I felt like I've always done great business with Cal, including even this situation right here. There was certain discussions floating around about, is this a money situation? Whether Calicoe got paid $1 or $100,000, you never sign a contract, which always, at least an RBE contract, has the numbers in it, the actual deposit, the actual back end, your money in it. No, there's no gun to your head. So for anybody to ever question, well, maybe RBE didn't pay enough or whatever, that is a horrible excuse. Those are the type of things that bring battle rap down. That's like pretty much what Averb is doing right now. Now it sounds like he's damn near extorting Frank. Make it right. Give me some more money or something like you don't sign a contract, you don't negotiate, you don't agree to something. And then when the battle doesn't happen, talk about how much you were supposed to get paid. That's horrible business. That's horrible excuses. I'm not saying that Cal ran with that, but I did see Cal saying for the money that he accepted this at. This battle right here for Showoff, we were 20% off of what we both wanted to do. He had a number he kept requesting. I was 20% under that. Those negotiations started on January 29th. By the time we got to the 31st, we hit a wall. And in our thread, I said, yo, I appreciate you. It's all good. We couldn't come to the same spot. You have one approach for the negotiation. I have a separate approach. There's never no hard feelings in negotiations. I put in that thread. You have the same text messages that I do. I put in that thread. It's all good. I'll never bring you this match again. So now February 1st rolls around. Cal hits me up. He saw like a Showoff interview. I think this is when Showoff battled Your Honor. And Showoff was talking, respectfully in Cal's direction. And that gave Cal another incentive for him to say, you know what, I don't mind this matchup. And he came back to me. I said, how about this? I got another idea. If we do a 2-battle deal, I'll give you the number you want for A-Ward. You give me the number I want for Showoff. It's a great number in total. A great number. It's money that niggas ain't making today. My offer still stands. The 2-battle deal at both of those numbers. But now the date. Cal, you literally have in your phone me texting you saying, yo, what's good with either the 21st or the 28th? Because we were talking about his Suge one-off. Now, speaking of one-offs, Cal, this is why I'd be like, yo, damn. When you talk about like I was under the impression of something different, Cal, you realize you literally just did that to me in the midst of this negotiation and this deal. We negotiated based on what you had going on as well as what I had going on. Now, what Cal was telling me, because I'm paying attention to prep, told me you versus Suge was just a one-off battle for your birthday. Later on, a card popped up, the same thing you're accusing me of. How fucking ironic is I can't make this shit up. Cal, come on, man. Did you not tell me you and Suge was a one-off for your birthday? That's why I came back with the 21st and the 28th. Saying like we pushing my 2 cards back, being that I got to spin the block and do the card with you and A-Ward. I'm pushing both of those back for a one-off with you and Suge. What's up? Let's just get to all of this, the 21st or the 28th. Any of these weekends good for you. But when your card popped up and I had to think to myself like, damn, I know it's not easy for battle rappers to play rapper and league owner within the same event. And I know Calicoe's a guy that needs a lot of time to prep. I didn't come at him. I didn't take no issue with it. I just banked on our business. I banked on our history. I banked on our rapport. I banked on both of our professionalism. That's what I banked on. I never said nothing to him, and I ain't gonna cry now. I just want to show Cal the things that he's saying to me. I was in that same seat with him. All you got to do is scroll up in your own text messages in your phone. It's in both of our phones. After I came to you with the 21st or the 28th, you text me back, cool, I just want to get him out the way. So now I sent the contract. Contract has the date, the 28th in it, has the opponent, has the money, has a 2-battle deal, has all of these things in it. And I even followed up after emailing the contract with another text that's in your phone, Kyle, with the details that's in the contract. The big piece is pretty much that you should pay attention to. The 28th, A-Ward, the deposit that changed, all of that type of stuff. I put it in text, even though you guys are responsible for reading your own contracts. I was like still covering all bases. I did that. It's in your phone. The same text message that I'm talking about with me saying the 28th, you even liked it. You signed the contract. I sent the deposit. Now we're locked in. So, I was a little offended by you saying, ARP is just like, let's get the contracts done and then we'll figure out the dates later. That's 1000% wrong. Maybe you do have a bad memory at times of certain things that just aren't a priority to you. And I'm going to be real, y'all. I really, really believe that Showoff was not a priority to him. But you don't take the contract. You don't do the agreement. You don't take the deposit. That becomes your responsibility. Those two conversations that we had while we was on the phone and arguing, Cal, you didn't even know how much your full bag was. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was 10% off of his money that was agreed. And we argued about that for like 30 seconds. I'm like, what? And I pulled up his contract on my phone while he and I is arguing, the day before when he called me and he said he's not going to make it. I pulled the contract and I told him, I said, this is the number in your contract. He was like, oh, which actually adds another layer of concern to me. Not just the fact that you forgot even your own money, which is what everybody thinks about the most, but it shows me that you thought you had an even smaller back end. That's not good based on how this is all adding up and maybe how you came to this conclusion from the outside looking in less than 24 hours before. But before I jump too far ahead and get to, the day before when he called me on the Friday, let's talk about the promo. There's not a soul in the world that I told I'm not going to have anybody in the room. It's going to be a complete vacant room. There's not a soul in the world that I told that. Actually, it's been like 3 cards in a row. I've been promoting. I've been saying I'm giving away free tickets. Let's say Calicoe doesn't watch my lives. He doesn't watch the promo. He doesn't know any of this stuff. I see he said, I've never seen a full circle event. Well, the reason is because they've never been pay-per-view. you can't buy a full circle. All you could do is have interest on the YouTube. Like, for example, if Aver versus Mickey Fax drops on YouTube and you want to click it, it just happens to be a full circle battle. But nobody has ever, not just Calicoe, nobody has seen a full circle event unless they were there in person because they're never pay-per-viewed. I haven't done a pay-per-view since Max Out 3. I'm telling y'all don't have to promo. There's so many battle rappers that have done these private events with me, the one-offs, the full circles that I told. Yo, the type of numbers that I'm trying to offer y'all, guess what? You don't have to promote. It's less work. No face-off, no press conference. Pretty much nobody on the call. I saw Danger Zone talking his talk a little bit. I saw KD promoting. Showoff was definitely doing his thing. These guys got their own brands and things that they want to do for themselves. But I tell everybody, you do not have to promote. That is part of the negotiation. Not that I can't promote or I can't put out a flyer or a trailer. Like, what league has ever done a card and they didn't drop or at least a flyer? I can't put out a flyer. Like, who really thinks this adds up? But anyway, back to this promo and not knowing that there would be a flyer or any promo or any fans. And it's so wild to also watch that interview and hear Cal say that. Every battler on the card is going to know this little small story I'm going to tell y'all right now. Every single battle rapper. But for some reason, Calicoe has a different perspective in his Hip Hop Is Real interview. He's the only one. So the week of March 9th, I know I've been talking about, I got a card coming up at the end of the month on these streams and all that. And people's like, yo, where's the free tickets that you say you're going to put up? When they're going to go up? I'm never going to put up an Eventbrite ticket without the card. But I'm not going to just raw announce the card. I'm waiting for the flyer. I'm waiting for the trailer. Actually, I have streams when I was telling people that I was just like, I'm waiting to get the trailer from Avocado. I'm being patient. It's all documented on the channel. That's not saying that Calicoe knows all of that. I'm not trying to say he's watching all these streams or nothing like that. But because we were in that week of March 9th, and I know that the card is March 28th, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, we're getting a little close. So I hit up Avo. Avo was busy as shit. Same thing I said on streams. He was super, super busy. It was real tough for him to get to the trailer at that time. So I called or I text every single battle rapper on the card. I really just wanted to make sure that they were still motivated and engaged because there was nothing online. There was no announcement yet. I didn't have my flyer and my trailer from Avocado yet. KD, Danger Zone, Trez, etc. They have this text message from me saying, hey, fellas, I just want to let y'all know it looks quiet out there. You know what I mean? Everybody stay on your game. I got the trailer. Come waiting for Avocado. He said he's going to get it to me next week. Calicoe being the main event. I didn't text him. I called him, got him on the phone. So I said this to him, yo, I just want you to understand, if you're looking around and you don't see any buzz or whatever, doesn't mean that nobody cares. Nothing's going on at all. I'm waiting for this trailer. Avocado says he's going to get it to me next week. So saying there wasn't supposed to be any promo, I literally had a conversation with Cal on the phone explaining to him why the promo was delayed. But during that call, Cal asked me, he says, when's the battle again? And I say to him, come on, Cal, stop playing, man. Scroll up in your phone. I said, it's the 28th, man. We like 2 weeks away. And he goes, hold on. And he scrolls up in his phone and he goes, oh shit, yeah, it is the 28th. I ain't even write a single ball for him yet. I said, yo, Cal, listen, man, hold me down. You know we did good business putting this together. You know me and you rapport. Like, hold me down, stop playing, get on your game. And he goes, yo, how many minutes is around again? I said, shit, I wouldn't pay you the type of money that I'm paying you unless they threes. He said, nah, I kind of remember there was 2-minute rounds. I said, hold on, let me pull up the contract. I pulled up the contract and I said, oh, no, you're right. It's not 3 minutes. It's actually 2 minutes plus 30-second grace. So it's even easier for you. You're good. Now, this is 2 weeks out. In my mind, I'm worried about him at least having his A game. I'm not thinking about him not showing up. That's not on my mind at all. I'm thinking like, nah, not Cal. I'm thinking like, shit, this is the same Cal that when he's booked for like 2-week notice with twerk on the caffeine type of shit, it's a horrible performance. So now knowing 2 weeks, I'm like, he doesn't perform under 2 weeks well at all. And he just told me that he didn't write a bar yet. And he just scrolled up in his phone and showed himself like, oh shit, it is the 28th. And then he even says to me, he goes, oh shit, you're right. That's on me. That's what he said. Cal, you know I'm not making this shit up right now. So then on the 13th, actually, Avo got it done. It was supposed to be the following week. That's when he told me he was going to be able to get to it. I expressed a little bit of frustration. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to keep the battlers motivated. And at the same time, I'm in the middle and I know Avocado's busy as shit. And nigga Avocado stopped what he's doing and he made his trailer for us. So on the 13th, which I think was like a Friday, I brought it all outside. I posted the flyer on my Instagram, on both my Twitter and my Instagram. I added all the battle rappers to the trailer and to the flyer that I posted. The live stream that I did where I debuted the trailer, I even text that link to all the battle rappers on the card before the live stream started so that they can join in and see the trailer. He's got all of these engagements and all of this communication from me and all these text messages from me the same way the other battle rappers do. Fast forward again, March 22nd, I reach out to him, let him know his hotel information, say like, yo, the performance of the night and the bar tonight bag. Remember, there's extra money up for that. So, you know, stay sharp, man. You know, I'm just trying to do extra things, you know, extra incentives for the battle rappers. That same text got like what time to be at the venue. He likes that text message too. All these text messages, the date conversations, the promo, the flyer, the trailer, all these things, all this communication. I did as much communication and then some with Calicoe and everybody on the card. Now, when Calicoe says, I felt the way 2 weeks prior, let's say that's 100% honest. I'm doing all this communication in his direction. It's not about our rapport and the work we've done in the past and the classics we put together. I'm in league owner mode and I'm communicating and I'm coordinating and I'm promoting. I'm doing my job. If you knew 2 weeks ago, instead of liking all these text messages within the last 2 weeks, where's the communication back towards me? If you have any concerns or respect for me, I assume that's the time to say something to me and we could figure it out or call an audible, whatever it's going to be. But you do not leave a league in a position of picking up a phone call 5 p.m. on a Friday when you are booked to appear in a main event by like 1 p.m. the following day. You just do not do that as an artist, as a professional. But let's say you have all of these concerns, despite you liking my text messages and all this communication we have between us and the rapport we have, even if it's just pure business. How about just saying that? That's all you got to do. Even if it was 5 days before, it would have looked different to me. 5 days before, because you're having these conversations with me, you're having these phone calls and these text messages with me. And then when I hear you say things like, there wasn't no date, he just said sign the contract, I'm like, damn, that ain't true. So now when I get a call 5 p.m. on a Friday, then to also get off the phone with Cal, make a call and say, yo, this ain't happening and this is done. It's a wrap. I didn't argue with this nigga Cal for the last hour plus, man. It's a wrap. And then somebody put me on like, yo, just heard that he was booked to host a show in Ohio. I'm like, so I text Cal that. About 15 minutes later, he calls me, says, where you hear that? I said, he was telling me that. He asked me a couple questions. Then he says, nah, I got off the phone with the legal and I screamed on him. Like, why are you telling people that? I spoke to him too. I was just like, all right, Cal, it's cool. It's all good. It's not like I got no proof of that, nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, I'm just telling you what I heard within 30 seconds after telling people that the battle's off. Ironic once again. But I want to go to this last piece. Cal, like, I saw your interview saying you think that ARP, either felt the way or didn't want to reschedule because things outside of you, i.e., him being a competitor and having an event on the same day as URL. I mean, you're entitled to that thought. I don't know if you're just trying to put that narrative out for other people to say, yeah, maybe this is ARP's fault. I don't know. Maybe you really, really believe that. But Cal, it's not just one, but 2 leagues that have nothing for sale on that competitive day. Nobody can be hurt by that co-promo. Nobody. Nobody's banking on nothing. Now, if it's the Get Back card and the Genesis card in Atlanta on the same day, selling tickets, selling a pay-per-view, ruin your day shooting both, it's competition. That's competition. You got the card that URL just did going to app only, no pay-per-view, no VOD. To my understanding, no tickets sold. Isn't it like their private studio that they have, private event? I don't even think they sold tickets. Same for me. No pay-per-view, no VOD, no tickets sold. There's no competition over a single red penny. And because there's no money involved in the day of, then the only thing would be attendance. And there's no competition there because they're in Florida and our card is in Atlanta. I'm smart enough to know this when anybody, because it wouldn't even have to be URL, it could be somebody on that same day that's selling something as well. I'm smart enough to know this. Honestly, post-retirement ARP, when I do these one-offs and these private shoots and private cards, I'm always telling myself the stress is down because I can't be hurt like that anymore. I can't. I could be hurt by the battlers. Like if Jag's car flips over all of a sudden and he's got a deposit and his opponent got a deposit. Same thing with Cal and Showoff. They got a deposit. They both got deposits. I don't even get to walk away with the footage. Yeah, I'll take an L. I'll take an L on the money side. But competition-wise, there's absolutely nothing to lose. I'm smart enough to know that going in. I'm smart enough, and I'm watching you say that. I'm just like, all right. But, maybe you really feel that, or that's a thought of yours. It's not logical at all. But let me tell you what I think. I think you and I have done such great business over the years. We have such great a rapport over the years. You know that you and Showoff both know that matchup really is something that I wanted to do. It was a checkbox for me. It was my vision of like, yo, this is one of them ones. I've called a million battle rappers and tried to drag them into matchups that they didn't want. I just tried to do it with Mickey Fax on this very same card. I tried to drag him into the ring versus O-Red. He didn't want to battle anybody, period. But I know that if we had fair business on the table and he signed that contract and then he was professional and he locked in, the world would see possibly a classic outcome between O-Red and Mickey Fax. A lot of people have taken battles on RBE that wasn't their thought or they weren't motivated for, wasn't a priority to them, or they didn't care about until ARP or some other league owner brought it about. But when you lock in, when you accept it, that's the difference. That's when it's time to show up and show out. And you have your thought about that Saturday. You want to know what mine is? My thought is you never thought about horsing me like you say the whole time. I don't believe that. I'll give Cal that. I don't think that he took that deposit. I don't think that he signed that contract and said, yeah, good, got him. Thank you, ARP. Robbery in process. I'm not putting that on Cal. And if I did feel that way, the person that called me on a Sunday, ready to spend some money with Calicoe and says, yo, tell me what's going on, because if it's that, I'm walking away. I would have told him, yeah, walk away. I didn't even put that on you. I said to be continued. Just let me right. I didn't even shit on in private. I didn't even shit on his bag outside of me. Outside, and I don't even know if Cal knows that. This is the truth. This is a fact. This is on everything. So to me, Cal had a significant deposit, a smaller back end, a two battle deal, the A ward right around the corner as well. Phone call where he told me, shit, I ain't write a bar yet 2 weeks before, and he's not a fast prep guy. All this shows me is maybe within that 2 weeks, maybe you was trying to get things together, because on that same phone call, once again, you didn't even remember that it was the 28th. You had to scroll up in your phone and say, oh shit, you're right. It's on me. All right, let me get to work. I feel like maybe you tried. But then as we got right there to this is why you didn't call me within the 2 weeks, because maybe you were really trying. But then when you got to that particular Friday and you thought to yourself, this is not good. Showoff has been fucking promoting online. He's been teasing this angle that I've never been hit with. He seems overconfident. I'm seeing the buzz picked up now within the last 2 weeks. ARP went and hired a host of Cassidy and Mickey Fax. Yes, I didn't tell the battle rappers that I was gonna hire a host. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'll wear that if that's a bad thing. Even though I offered on the phone to take the host away. But okay. And once again, I never told nobody that I would never put Showoff and Calicoe or any battle that I paid for purposefully in a bare room. I've never done that in my life. Especially for that type of anyway. But anyway, I feel like you got to that point and it was just like, nah, like you're gonna have me here in front of a guy that I feel is lesser than me in stature. He's gonna wild on me. I'm not fully prepped because I don't think Calicoe's scared to battle Showoff at all. And I think that Calicoe really feels in his mind that he would wipe the floor with Showoff. I do. And maybe he would. I'm neutral. I'm fucking neutral. But I feel like it wasn't the A game Calicoe. It never is within 2 weeks. Historically, we've seen that. I already mentioned like the Twerk situation to him, to y'all. We know this. So you got to that point and then you called me and it was just like, yo, unique circumstances. But that's the spot I've been in before. It's what I continue to say publicly for the health of battle rap business. And I love using the same examples of O-Red and Geechee. I say when O-Red called me, he said, this happened and these did this and more money. And I said, just give me back my deposit and we good. And he said, I got you. And then we went on to do 50 battles after that because he just kept it 1,000. And I've always spoke highly of him for that. And the same thing for Geechee. I continue to speak highly of him. But the people that have called me and said, their dog ate their homework and all that. And then in Cal's case, I never knew there was going to be people there. I'm just like, and then I see the interview on Hip Hop Is Real. I'm like, damn, he said a bunch of things that 100% ain't true. That's literally in his phone. That's literally dated in contract in our emails and dated in both of our text threads. I was like, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I really think happened. The same way you feel like maybe I reacted like of not wanting to reschedule it because URL, which makes no sense business wise. I think that's why you called me the day before, not 2 weeks before. That's why. That's why. I do agree with if you can't get your entourage together and people, because I do preach safety. You know what I'm saying? Like roll with your people. I ain't mad at him at all for that. But it's not my responsibility to put your entourage together. I didn't book your entourage. And I think last minute, once again, within 2 weeks is when he even remembered that the date was the 28th. Within those 2 weeks, him getting people from out of town together. I think all of this plays a factor. In his Hip Hop Is Real interview, he mentions his head, not or whatever. That means that you wasn't really sure this whole time, but you never said anything to me. You could have had a million issues, whether they were valid, frivolous, or 100% accurate. You could have communicated to me. You didn't have to be like all of them janky artists and bad businessmen that call somebody the day before and then tells me a bunch of stuff that I feel like that's my perspective. Same way you got yours. That's my perspective. So Where does this leave things? Because I feel like your deposit being bigger than the back end, having the two battle deal and all that. I feel like Cal, to a degree, you're banking on the reschedule. And it's not even only Calicoe's fault because, like, if I get on here right now and I rant and I rave about not rescheduling a battle, a lot of bloggers, a lot of fans, a lot of battle rappers get to say, ARP, you tripping because battles get rescheduled every day, B. You get to spin it, you know? But that's the problem. That's one of the problems. That's the problem. We are too used to that being okay. And that is absolutely the wrong thing. That is 1000% the bad thing. We shouldn't have to have literal phrases of, we always complete the objective. That's not supposed to be a popular phrase. It's not supposed to be all these reschedules and last minute when the fans already, even Showoff, the opponent, he drives in states away. He's got family members with him, blood relatives and all that. I got to call him like 6:30 p.m. on a Friday when he's already in town. I got to make these audibles and now account for the money that I'm losing. And you just don't move like that. You don't move like that. And I will never agree with an artist having heads up for any concerns or any problems. In this case, 2 weeks from what Calicoe is saying, and not say anything until you get to the day before. I will never condone that for battle rap. I will never condone that for general business. It's one of the things that we can't support. That's also why I endorse not rescheduling it. I'd rather walk away. I'd rather leave it alone because I feel like it could have been handled much, much more professional, whether you're talking about the personal side of me and Cal's rapport or just the professionalism between us. Either way, it's something I'd rather walk away from.
But go ahead, convince these niggas your life is like Ozark, and that even without pure outrage, your pose spark, I draw on you. Melody, that's unknown art meets Mozart. It's Bobby's world. I'm the first character riding when shows start.